Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just here today making a video of the 5 reasons why you're gonna hate the ending of Game of Thrones. First of all, we already know one of the reasons why. George R.R. Martin doesn't have any more book material out, and so what we're seeing now is just the producers writing instead of George writing. Obviously, George does give the producers pointers as to what main events need to happen, but aside from that, it's just like a group of guys sitting at a table just coming up with ideas of what should happen, what shouldn't happen, and it just really takes away from the main feel of the first seasons where we had George writing the dialogue, which by the way is just beautiful. I just love to go back and just revisit the episodes and just watch everybody talking, and having that back and forth between different characters and how they all cunning, and everybody's like having their own agenda, and it's just a great thing to listen to all of them talk. So as the show obviously matures, you can see how the writing is a bit different. There's something that it lacks, and you can't quite put your hand on it, but you know that it's different, and it's because George R.R. Martin, the author of the book, is no longer providing that dialogue that he had, because obviously the show ran out of book material, and so now they're just making it up as they go. Of course, I want to say it again, with the help of George, but still that's just not enough for me. Moving on to reason number 2, and continuing with the writing problem, you can tell that George took his time writing the book. For him, this was his baby. He loved writing. He loved to sit down and create these characters, give them a backstory. But for the producers, writing is a job. They've been doing this for so long, they're tired, they just want to get it over with. I feel like they're just rushing through these episodes. We could have had another season. We could have season 9. Just put more stuff, just add more details. What happened with the time frame? Before, from the north to King's Landing, it used to be 2 or 3 episodes. Now it's like, we're here in the north, with the Starks family, we're gonna go to King's Landing. All of a sudden it just cuts to a scene and they're in King's Landing. Like, come on, it's just, there's no sense of time, there's no sense of travel. Reason number 3 is the fan and their passion. Okay, fans love this show, like really love this show, and so a lot of times you start like thinking about what could happen, and when you don't see what you thought you would see, then it becomes a problem, because sometimes what the fans think or theorize can go farther than what the producers can make or accomplish or think for themselves. So a lot of times I go into these YouTube channels and I see a bunch of theories that will be better than what we saw on the episode, but for whatever reason, that's not what they made. It's just one of those things that you just you can't help it. The 4th reason, the show's nature. If you've seen what George R.R. Martin had to say in the very few instances where he has voiced his opinion, you already know that he likes to have everything on a grayscale. Good people doing bad things, bad people doing good things, and there's not really, a situation of what's black and what's white. I like that on episode 5 of season 8, we can see that the producers went back to that whole feel that we know from earlier seasons, where you see Jon killing one of his men because he was raping or about to rape a woman. You see that, like, good people are capable of doing bad things, and bad people are capable of doing good things too. So just to see that there, it just gave me like this good feeling, like, oh yes, this is what the show is about. This is what make Game of Thrones, at least for me, cool, what I like to see. And so to see that episode there was great, just to see good people turning bad. The last reason why you will hate the ending of Game of Thrones is that long serialized shows have a tendency of disappointing fans with their ending. Do you remember Lost? Do you remember The Sopranos? Do you remember How I Met Your Mother? So based on that, you should know that it's technically impossible to make everyone happy. But I tell you this much, a good ending for me would be Dany getting pregnant and having a kid, because as you all know, Jon and her were banging every time they had a chance, and in the show it's been tossed around the whole idea of history repeating itself. You know how Jon's mother died when he was born, Daenerys' mother died when she was born, so it would be kind of like poetic to have Daenerys die when she's having her own kid, and then Jon Snow will have to look after that kid. But there's something else that could happen. Remember that Jon died and was brought back by the Lord of Light, and as you know, the Lord of Light usually have some sort of purpose. So what would be Jon's purpose? It could be that Jon's purpose was to fight the Night King, which, by the way, what the fuck? They tease the whole time Jon fighting the Night King. I'm really angry that they didn't fight. Producers could have Jon fighting the Night King and Arya still delivering the fatal blow, but they didn't. They had to let Jon fight the Night King, and then after like a few minutes of them fighting, Jon loses his sword. The Night King is about to kill him, and just when he's about to kill him, Arya comes in out of nowhere and kills him. I think that would have been a better idea, but just having Arya kill him without Jon Snow confronting him, it was like weird. I didn't like that whole thing. But moving on, so Jon's purpose was to fight the dead and then go and defeat Cersei's. So once he's done that, he could look at his newborn baby and be like, oh shit, this is it, my purpose here is done. And then he dies, but right before he dies, he tells Arya, like, hey listen, protect this baby with your life and make sure he becomes a good king. And then, you know, fast forward like a few years, and then you see like Arya like as an older woman, and the new king. Roll credits. That's the end of the show. But what I think will happen instead of that is that Jon saw how crazy Dany is, and it's gonna be up to him to kill Daenerys. The dragon is gonna try to kill Jon, but since he's also a Targaryen, he won't burn, and that's when he's gonna take Jon's side as his new master. And after that, I don't know what will happen to him. He might not be able to live with himself having killed Daenerys and then actually kill himself. Or maybe he will just, like, I don't know, turn into like a pile of ashes like Melisandre did after the whole fight with the Night King was over. Or maybe it will be a mix of both. Who knows what will happen? I don't know, but I definitely think the ending is gonna be a sad ending. All we can wish now is that George R.R. Martin has a chance to finish the books, and then once everything is finished, HBO could buy the rights of those books and then give us like a remastered version of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones Ultimate. Game of Thrones 2011. Game of Thrones Brotherhood. My anime people got the idea. To think that the massacre on the Bells episode could have been avoided if only Jon gave Dany some dick. Come on, man. I know she's your aunt and everything, but it's for the realm. For the realm, dude. Come on.